At the back of Savamart Grocery, a visibly stressed woman clutched a handful of coupons while arguing with a cashier. Two small children clung to her side, one tugging at her coat, the other pointing at cookies on the counter. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but these discounts don't apply," the cashier said coldly. "Store policy." But the sign clearly stated. Emma Collins pleaded, her voice cracking. Behind her, customers sighed impatiently. A tall man with a slight limp observed the scene from several registers away. Jack Reynolds' sharp eyes noted everything. The cashier's dismissive attitude, the manager watching smugly from his office window, and the tears welling in Emma's eyes. Something about this felt wrong. Very wrong. Emma Collins was no stranger to life struggles. A single mother to Lily and Max. She worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. Every day was a balancing act. Getting her kids to school, working double shifts, and managing a household on a shoestring budget. Savamart was known for bright banners advertising discounts, but locals whispered about shady practices. The manager, Frank Wilson, ran the store with predatory precision, adding hidden fees at checkout and pushing expired goods as bargains. For struggling families like Emma's, there were few other options nearby. Jack Reynolds stood a few registers down, dressed in his usual understated style, worn jeans and a simple button-down that concealed both his muscular frame and the scars from his last deployment. Most people saw only his slight limp, never guessing he'd spent 12 years as a Navy SEAL before an IED in Afghanistan changed everything. As Emma fumbled with her wallet, Wilson appeared from his office. "Is there a problem here?" he asked with a faux sympathetic tone. I thought these coupons were valid," Emma whispered. Wilson glanced at the coupons, then at her children. "Well, maybe check next time before wasting everyone's time." Jack's jaw tightened. He caught Wilson whispering to the cashier, "Upsell her on expired products. She won't know the difference." Jack had seen enough. This wasn't just a bad day for Emma. This store was a trap preying on people like her. "Add her groceries to my bill," Jack said, stepping forward with quiet authority. The cashier blinked, startled. "Sir, are you sure?" "I said add them," Jack repeated, his tone leaving no room for argument. Emma's eyes filled with tears. "I can't let you do that. It's too much." "It's not too much," Jack replied gently. "You've got enough on your plate." As they walked out together, Emma clutching her grocery bags, Jack asked casually, "Do you shop here often?" She nodded reluctantly. "It's the only place within walking distance. But sometimes things don't seem right. Prices change between the shelf and register, or they claim I bought things I didn't." Jack's expression hardened. He'd recognized the tactics immediately. The same predatory patterns used against vulnerable populations worldwide. But here, in his hometown, targeting struggling families? That crossed the line. "I'm Jack," he said, offering his hand. "Emma Collins," she replied, shifting her bags to shake it. "And these are Lily and Max. Thank you for what you did in there." As Max stared up at him with wide eyes, Jack felt something stir inside him, a sense of purpose he hadn't experienced since leaving the service. "You mentioned price discrepancies," Jack said. "Has anyone else complained about this store?" Emma laughed bitterly. "Everyone complains, but what can we do? Most of us can barely make rent, let alone fight some corporate store." Jack nodded, his mind already mapping out reconnaissance. Maybe there's something we can do about that. That evening, Jack sat in his modest apartment, scrolling through online reviews of Savamart. What he found deepened his suspicions. Prices never matched the shelves. Total scam. Bought milk here. Spoiled next day. Manager refused refund. Warning. They target veterans with special military discounts that actually cost more. That last review made his blood boil. Jack had seen exploitation in war zones, but this, targeting veterans and struggling families in his own community, felt personal. The next day, Jack visited Emma's apartment building. Her surprise at seeing him quickly turned to curiosity as he explained his concerns. "I think Wilson is running a calculated operation," Jack said, "but I need more information. Do you know anyone else who's had problems with Savamart?" Emma hesitated, then nodded. "Mrs. Ramirez in 3C. She's on a fixed income. And Mr. Davis, a Vietnam veteran in 2B. He signed some kind of payment plan with Wilson that he now can't afford. Jack spent the week talking to residents, building a comprehensive picture of Wilson's operation. The pattern was clear. Savamart specifically targeted veterans, elderly residents, and single parents, people who might not notice small discrepancies or who lack resources to fight back. Most disturbing were the veterans' payment plans. Predatory loans disguised as help for former service members struggling to make ends meet. He said it was a special offer for veterans, Mr. Davis explained, showing Jack paperwork with interest rates that would make loan sharks blush. By the time I realized what I'd signed, it was too late. Jack's tactical mind identified the weak points in Wilson's operation. The paper trail of fraudulent contracts, the expired products stored in plain sight, and Wilson's overconfidence. This ends now, Jack said quietly, a plan already forming. Jack knew he couldn't take down Wilson alone. Every successful mission required the right team. His first recruit was Detective Sarah Chun. They'd served together before she joined the police force. Initially skeptical, she changed her mind after seeing the evidence Jack had gathered. "This isn't just fraud," she said, reviewing the predatory contracts. "This is organized exploitation." Next, Jack approached Marcus Webb, a local journalist who covered veterans' issues. Marcus immediately recognized the story's potential. "People need to know about this," he said, "and we need to catch Wilson in the act." Emma became their most valuable asset, connecting Jack with more victims and helping them understand how Wilson's schemes worked. Her determination surprised even her. "I'm tired of people like Wilson thinking they can prey on us because we're struggling," she told Jack as they coordinated their plan. "My kids deserve better than this." As their coalition grew, Jack received a disturbing call from Mr. Davis. "Wilson sent some guys to my apartment," he said, voice shaking. "Said if I didn't make a payment by Friday, they'd make sure I regretted it." The threat cemented Jack's resolve. This wasn't just about overcharging anymore. Wilson was intimidating veterans and vulnerable community members. The time for reconnaissance was over. "We need to be strategic," Jack told his team, the training from his SEAL days evident in his methodical planning. Wilson has been operating this way for years. He's careful. Their plan had 3 phases: evidence collection, public exposure, and legal action. Jack coordinated with Detective Chun to ensure everything they gathered would be admissible in court. For the first phase, Jack wore a concealed camera into Savamart, posing as a struggling veteran interested in Wilson's special payment plan. The manager took the bait. "Times are tough," Jack said, maintaining his cover. "I heard you help veterans out with flexible payments." Wilson's eyes gleamed. "You heard right. We offer special plans for our military heroes," he said, lowering his voice. "Just sign here, and you'll get everything you need today. You can pay later with just a little interest." "How much interest?" Jack pressed. "Nothing crazy," Wilson smirked. "Don't worry about the fine print. It's all standard." Every word was being recorded, every predatory practice documented. Meanwhile, Emma and other community members organized, gathering testimonies from dozens of victims. Their stories painted a devastating picture of systematic exploitation. Elderly residents choosing between medication and food, veterans sinking deeper into debt with each payment plan. "What happens if I miss a payment?" Jack asked Wilson during their second meeting. Wilson's friendly facade slipped. "You don't find out," he said, his tone suddenly threatening. "We have ways of collecting what we're owed." The final piece fell into place when Jack, using skills honed in covert operations, accessed Wilson's office after hours. In a locked filing cabinet, he found a smoking gun, 2 sets of books, fake contracts, and a list of enforcement visits to late-paying customers. Wilson wasn't just running a fraudulent grocery store. He was operating a predatory lending scheme targeting the community's most vulnerable members. They chose a Friday evening, when Savamart would be busiest. For their final move, Emma entered first, approached the customer service desk, and loudly demanded to speak with Wilson about her fraudulent charges. As planned, Wilson emerged from his office, immediately attempting to hustle Emma to a private area. "Let's discuss this somewhere quiet," he insisted. "Actually," Emma replied, her voice stronger than Wilson had ever heard it, I think everyone here needs to hear this." That was Jack's cue. He entered with Marcus Webb and his news crew, while Detective Chin positioned officers at all exits. "Frank Wilson," Jack called out, his commanding presence drawing every eye in the store. "We need to talk about your predatory practices targeting veterans and vulnerable families in this community." Wilson's face contorted with rage. "You can't just walk in here and—" "This is what we found in your office," Jack interrupted, as Marcus projected documents onto the store wall using a portable device. Fraudulent contracts, predatory interest rates, records of intimidation tactics. Customers gasped as they recognized their own experiences in the evidence being displayed. Several stepped forward with their own stories. "You charged me double for milk last week. You sold me expired meat and refused a refund. You threatened my grandfather when he couldn't pay." Wilson lunged toward the exit, only to find Detective Chin waiting. "Frank Wilson, you're under arrest for fraud, predatory lending practices, and criminal intimidation," she announced, cuffing him as cameras rolled. As Wilson was led away, Jack turned to the shocked customers. "This store has been exploiting this community for years. It ends today." The aftermath sent shockwaves through the community. Savamart was temporarily closed, with Wilson and several accomplices facing multiple charges. Jack's evidence, combined with community testimonies, made the case airtight. But Jack's mission wasn't complete. Working with local officials, he helped transform the former Savamart into a community-owned cooperative grocery store, with fair prices and transparent practices. Emma was hired as its first manager. 1 month later, at the grand opening of Community Market, Jack stood quietly at the back as Emma cut the ribbon. Children played in the parking lot, where Wilson once intimidated elderly customers. Veterans and families shopped with dignity, no longer afraid of hidden fees or predatory schemes. Emma spotted Jack and walked over. "You could have just paid for my groceries that day and walked away," she said. "Why did you do all this?" Jack watched as Mr. Davis, now free from Wilson's threats, helped a young mother carry her bags. "In the military, we live by a code," he replied. "Never leave anyone behind. I couldn't just help you and walk away knowing others were still suffering." Emma smiled. "Well, on behalf of everyone here, thank you." Jack nodded and slipped away without fanfare, just as he'd done after countless missions. For him, it wasn't about recognition. It was about doing what was right. The local paper's headline captured it perfectly. "Disabled Veteran Exposes Grocery Store Scam, Transforms Community." The story went viral, inspiring similar investigations nationwide. But the true impact of Jack's actions reached far beyond headlines. His courage sparked a powerful reminder that injustice thrives when good people remain silent. In a world where it's easy to look away, Jack chose to stand firm, showing that one person with conviction can indeed change an entire community. This story isn't just about exposing a corrupt grocery store. It's about the ripple effects of courage, how standing up for what's right inspires others to do the same. When Jack first intervened to help Emma, he couldn't have known he was lighting a spark that would transform countless lives. Perhaps there's a Jack Reynolds in all of us, that voice urging us to speak up when we witness injustice, to extend a hand when others are struggling. The military trains soldiers to run toward danger when others flee, but the courage to stand up for others is a choice anyone can make. What injustice have you witnessed in your community? Have you ever been helped by someone who stood up when it would have been easier to walk away? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else to take a stand. If this story moved you, give a thumbs up so others can find it too. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories that remind us of the difference one person can make when they choose courage over comfort. Because in the end, that's how communities heal and grow stronger, one brave action at a time.